We've been working with binary, so we're going to look at converting these numbers. So if you look at the notepad, network 172.16.3.1 has 1, 2, 3, 4 ones in the last octet. So the first octet, 255, second octet, 255, and the third octet is 255. So then we got to do the 4 ones. So remember, fill in the chart 1, 1, 1, 1. And if you add all those up, 128.64 is 192 plus 32 is 224, then 240. And we were converting this the other day, and we have that little chart that we can look at. So gigabit 10 with a 10, 10, 10, 1. So we can determine that's 240 at the end. Now this one has 5 ones in the subnet mask in the fourth octet. So if we fill in 128, 164, 32, 16, and 8, that determines 248. 248. So that the subnet mask would be 248. And then in the last interface here, gigabit 20, we have 3 ones, and that is 224. Once again, you can refer to the little binary chart that we used. Okay, so now that we've determined, I have down here some commands, so we can put the subnet mask that matched the interfaces. So that would be 240 with the 172. The 192 is a 224. And then the 10 number is a 248. So I want you to notice where the ones stop at. So in this example, first gigabit 00, it's the ones stop at 16. Next example, gigabit 10, the ones stop at 8. And also here in the last one, the ones stop at 32. So we're going to learn more about that later, but just kind of keep your eye on that, and then we'll kind of determine what that means here in a minute. So now that we know that, we can go in and configure our router. So I can just do this, right? Command line. Or I can go through config. And for speed in the video, I will go this route. So we're going with 172.16.3.1. When you press tab, the default subnet mask fills in. So we're going to change the 255, 255, 255 to, this is the 172, this is 240. Press enter and the commands come in down here. So it's a little refresher if you don't remember the commands. Now let's go to gigabit 10. So that is the 10.10.10.1. Press tab, then subnet mask fills in, which is 255.0.0.0. 255.255. This is 248. Now I'm going to try to put in a 0 here. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Press enter. It tells me it's invalid. So remember, we can't use the first. So you can't use 0. And I can't use 255. So if I try to do 255, watch what happens. Press enter. So in this example, you're allowed to use 255 because of the subnet mask. So let's go back and change this to .1. Correct our subnet mask. So 248. Okay, and that went in fine. And gigabit 20, that is the 192. Oop, make sure we turn them on. Go back up here. Okay, make sure I do the no shutdown command. So this would be 192.168.1. Nope, 3. No, 1. 1.1. Press tab. Default subnet mask is 24. We're changing it to 224. Now what we're going to do is configure the switches. So if we look at the notepad down here, we see that we can copy and paste. So first switch, we're going to use .2. because .1 is on the router. Subnet mask is 240. Okay, no shutdown. And then go to the next switch. This will be the 192.168. Big T, INT, VLAN, 1, no shutdown, IP address 192.168.1.2, 255.255.255, and this would be dot 224, right? 3 ones? Yes, 224. And then last switch. Fig T, INT, VLAN 1, no shutdown, IP address 10.10.10.2, 255.255.255.248. Okay, so now we're going to go configure a PC. Now, what we're going to do is configure it incorrectly. So 172.16.3.100. Fix our subnet mask. This would be 240. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy the IP because it's going to be the gateway will be similar. So the gateway's .1. So now 240, if we look at 240, 240 stops on 16. So we're using 1 for the router and we're using 100. Now this ping is going to fail. So if I try to ping the gateway, 172.16.3.1. And the reason it's going to fail is because in this subnet mask, we only have 16 available IPs, 0 through 15. So what we're going to do is let it time out. So if I say 0 to 15, we can't use 0, we can't use 15, we're going to use 14. So obviously this is not working. One more time out. So let's change it to 14. And see if this ping will go through now. So an arrow up, ping .1, and there you go. So if you don't know how to determine the subnet mask and how big the networks are, then once again, we'll go down here and we said before was a 192 network. 192 is 224. So 224 stops at 32. So 0 to 31. So this can be 30. So this IP is going to be 30. So 192.168.1.30. Fix our subnet mask to be 224. And then our gateway is .1, 92.168.1.1. One 92.168.1.1. Okay, now if we ping 192.168.1.1, pings are successful. Now let's jump that IP up a little bit. Let's go to anything above. Let's go back to 100. Okay. And we're going to go right back to command prompt and ping again. So I'm just going to arrow up and these pings will fail. So let's go to the last PC. And this was a 10 network. So a PIPA, remember, 169.254 means it did not find a DHCP server, did not get an IP. So that's an indication, layer 2. So what are we doing with the 10 network? What was our subnet mask? 248. So 248 stopped on 8. So we're going from 0 to 7. So this can be 6. 10.10.10.6. And I'm not expecting you to understand this today in this video. Just know that we're going to do some type of a process coming up soon. We saw 248 and copy, paste my gateway. .1. So go to command prompt, ping. 10.10.10.1. So once again, if we jump this IP above 7, so let's go to 7, 8, let's go to 10. And once again, once we go back to command prompts, these pings that were just successful, now we're not. So we could actually consider this to be some type of an attack if someone had a DHCP server giving out the wrong IP to subnet mask. So once we fix those IPs, we'll be back to pinging. So that concludes the video for today, and I will see you in class very soon.